Welcome, seriously welcome to a John Legg fragrance review. You know, I so appreciate you coming to this channel. It's probably a little bit different to other channels on YouTube because we look at three things: the smell, the performance, value for money. We're not bothered about anything else, we're bothered about the juice inside. Is it worth buying or isn't it worth buying? Okay, I have a lot of fragrance in my collection. I also have a lot of LATTAFA perfumes, and this is a LATTAFA perfume, and I'll tell you about it in a moment. You know what, the LATTAFA are amazing. They're made in United Arab Emirates. Generally speaking, they're what we call cheapies. They're all good value for money, they're all eau de perfumes, and they're all amazing. And this one is absolutely no exception. Now, I love the name of this one. It's OUD MOOD. Okay, so OUD MOOD. OUD MOOD. I love this one. Okay, so LATTAFA perfumes, EDP, 100ml. It costs around about £15–16. eBay, Amazon, that sort of place. This is where you'll get it. Now, I honestly don't know whether this is supposed to be a clone of anything. Let me know in the comments if anyone knows if it's a clone of anything. But let's actually tell you about this bad boy as just as a standalone fragrance. Okay, now this one hit me a few months ago, and for me it was an instant wow. But I will warn you, I need to put a disclaimer here. It is not an instant crowd pleaser. What do I mean by an instant crowd pleaser? Something like Bleu de Chanel, Dior Sauvage, you know, Armani Code, they're all crowd pleasers. It's, you know, they're an easy wear, they're an easy like, everyone's going to love them, everyone's just going to go wow. This one, I need to explain more about this one because it's a very complex scent, and I will say from the start, it is not for everyone. Capital N, not for everyone, not for everyone. Okay, let's spray it and let's try and talk you through this kind of quite bizarre fragrance. Now, I will warn you, I don't normally talk about the sprays, but this one creates a cloud. So you ready? Look at that. Whew. Okay, so you coat yourself in one spray. Most people's reaction when they first smell it is that they jump backwards and say, whoa, it's so strong. And I always say, whoa. Every fragrance should start off strong because it fades slowly. It's got to start off strong. This one is ultra strong. And let me warn you, for the first 10 minutes, if you get up close and smell it, you smell everything that's wrong about it. You can smell the alcohol, you can smell the fact that it's a sort of a synthetic mess, and you can smell all the sort of skanky oud, right? Right, don't get up close to it for about 10 minutes, and after that it settles down. Now, the first time I smelt it, I thought, oh, you know what? That's a bit like Tom Ford's Black Orchid turned rogue. And you know what? I'm still absolutely convinced of my first thoughts. It is Black Orchid turned rogue. Because what you've got with this one, you've got like a sugary, caramelly, rosy note, which is very prominent, and it's exactly the same sort of rose note as in Tom Ford Black Orchid. But then underneath that, this is where it completely differs, because it turns rogue. You've got a massive splat of amber, you've got a lot of spices, you've got some gaiac wood, you've got some oudy gaiac wood, and you've got a bit of patchouly, and you've got like a real sort of complete contrast to the beautiful rose. You've got all the sort of skanky bits in the bottom. Okay, you're going to say to me, is it any good? Right. I absolutely wowed by this fragrance, and like I say, it's not for everyone. When I sprayed it at work, it divided the camp. Most people, I would say the majority of people, stepped away from it and went no. But when they smelt the drydown, most people went, oh, that's a lot better. There were just a handful of people that even from the start they went, oh man, that's different, that's wacky, that's amazing. It is not a mainstream kind of smell. Okay, there's a lot of warnings in this review. It's not a mainstream instant love, instant like. You're not going to get people sort of wowed by this fragrance. But after it started to dry down, it becomes very, very mysterious, very, very sort of smoky. It's got a bit of incense in there, and it turns this, oh man, you sort of almost got a battle between the sort of beautiful sugary rose and all the sort of skanky bits, the sort of oudy wood and you know, that sort of thing, the patchouly that's trying to make it earthy, but the rose is trying to make it sort of florally. And it's an absolutely beautiful battle because it's like hitting, you know, it's a 50-50 mix. Right, I'm going to tell you something about this fragrance. I'd had it on the side for a bit and I picked it up and I sprayed it, and even for me it was like, oh man, that's not how I remember it. That's really weird. Okay, I don't know what made me do this, but I shook the fragrance, which I didn't violently shake it, I just shook it, and I sprayed it 5 minutes later and I was like, oh, that's a different smell. So I've never ever come across it before, that a fragrance should need just agitating. I mean, I say I didn't violently shake it. I just shook the bottle because the weird thing is it sort of creates a lot of bubbles and you can see it in that sort of ambery coloured liquid. And the next time I sprayed it, I was like, oh, that's so much better. So even for me, that one spray was like, oh, I need to go and scrub this. But when I sprayed it after just shaking the bottle slightly, it was way, way much better and way, way much different to when I just picked it off the shelf when it had been settling for a long time. So let me know in the comments if you've ever come across that situation before, that you just have to agitate it slightly. But it was definitely different for me. Is it a teenage fragrance? No. N-O, capital N and a capital O. It's not a teenage fragrance. It's more for a mature guy, someone who really has confidence and someone who can pull it off, because I say it's not an instant crowd pleaser. I've no idea whether it's marketed as unisex. I can definitely picture a guy wearing this. Can I picture a woman wearing this? Maybe, but it would have to be like a mature woman. Once again, like a mature guy wearing this, it would have to be a mature woman wearing this. I would say it leans more male, but yeah, I can actually see a woman wanting to wear this because it's kind of got a lot of mystery in it. It's that, okay, the rose is a real obvious note. The sort of sugary rose is a real obvious note. But all the other ones are sort of hidden. It's like a smoke and mirrors sort of thing. All the other notes that play around with this sort of earthy vibe and the oudy vibe, you can't really pick them out. They're just one lump, which are almost sort of shooting things at the rose, as though, you know, you're not going to be a sweet perfume. You're going to be like a sort of a slightly smoky, dark, mysterious fragrance. Okay. Excuse me. I would give this, in terms of a scent, for me, around about a 9 out of 10, because I love black orchid, and this is black orchid gone rogue, so you know what, it's always going to win me. Would I recommend it as a blind buy? I'm going to get a lot of comments and a lot of people saying I bought it but I didn't like it. So if it's possible, borrow it from someone, or get a sample. Or, you know what, what's the worst that can happen? If you spent £15 on eBay or Amazon and got this, what's the worst that can happen? There's going to be someone in your workplace who'll buy it off you because they like it and you don't. So, performance. Let's talk about performance, because this is what you want to know about, really, isn't it? Yeah, the smells for me great, and hopefully for you great, but let's talk about performance. This one is an absolute beastiful monster. I don't even know where I got that from. It's a big beast, okay, like it's a big monster thing. Okay, it lasts on my skin all day, seriously, all day. It projects off my skin for around about 6 hours. Okay, and I've had lots of people say, what are you wearing, Leggy? Some with a sort of a puzzled look on their face, as though, what is he wearing? And some of them are sort of like, what are you wearing, Leggy? So like I say, it divides the camp as to whether people like it or are not too keen. I've actually had one person just completely turned off, didn't want to smell it ever again in their lives, walked away muttering something, and I thought, okay, right, okay, never ever again, they said. But if you're prepared to A, wait for the dry down, and B, have something which is off the beaten track, not mainstream, then this could be just your perfect fragrance. So let's show you it again. Oude Mood, Oude Mood, Mood by LATTAFA. Okay, you will enjoy it if you don't necessarily want a mainstream smell. Now, I've talked for a long time about this. I will say to you, the performance will not disappoint you. Okay, so hopefully you've spent the whole 10 minutes with me. Really appreciate that. A thumbs up, a subscription would be awesome. And if I'll see you next time, that would be even better because there'll always be more videos. So stay happy, spray fragrance every day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.